Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Me versus Me. I'm Patrick Kinzonzi.
Welcome, guys. I'm Herman Madimba.
Yeah, so today we're carrying on with the topic about breaking the cycle, but this one is called Product of My Environment. So basically, going to be talking about the effects that your environment can have on you and how your experiences can actually shape your mindset and even shape you as a person, shape your character as well. And what do we do to come out of that situation? How do we see things differently when you are still living in that environment, when you're still surrounded by people who also grew up in that type of environment? Where do you get the strength from? If you're constantly surrounded by something, how do you see things from a different perspective? So that's what we're going to be tackling today, because I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there who are in that situation. There's a lot of you guys who know people who are in that situation. There's some of you who have actually come out of that situation. So it's not just a case of us basically trying to teach you guys, but it's also about getting feedback from you guys as well, so you guys can help us and tell us how some of you guys were able to come out of that situation and what kind of struggles some of you guys are currently going through as well. So um, first thing you need to realize is we are not responsible for being born. We don't choose which family we're born in, and we don't choose the environment that we're born in sometimes as well. So that's the first thing we need to realize. However, I believe that willpower works and is effective in every single human being. If you think of some of the greatest people in the history of humanity, their greatness always seemed to have come out of a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so with that being said, what do you think can be just some of the effects? You could get quick bullet points, or you could elaborate some of the effects of being born in I say polluted environment, in the sense that it's an environment that involves, let's say, poverty, stagnation, no growth or development in terms of people pursuing, whether it's their education, pursuing their passions, their dream, people not reaching a certain level beyond maybe like getting a part-time job, working at McDonald's, just working at Tesco's, or not seeing themselves as great, and not seeing themselves beyond maybe being involved in the streets, selling drugs in order to get money, not being able to gain income without it being through a legal pathways. So where does that balance come in terms of understanding why people are like that, to saying, okay, this is where we draw the line, there has to be a change. So if someone has been in a certain condition for 15 years and that's all they're seeing, how do we convince them to come out of that? Or what can we do to come out of that? Or what can that individual do? So I know I've said a lot right there, but let's first go back to what I first said, some of the impacts that it can have.
Oh, I mean, some of the impacts it can have, they are so evident. Let me just give a quick example. In some of our communities, for example, why do you think that they have so many like gambling shops, for example?
Right.
So many gambling shops, and sometimes you see them next to the job center or the welfare office for those in America that are watching us.
Yeah.
So you have people that pick up the welfare checks, and then the next thing, boom, into the gambling shop.
Right.
You could see on one high road at least 5, 6, 3, 4 minutes from each other. Why have they built these things right there in these communities? Because they know that, number one, desperation, the hunger to make quick money. Because again, what are we seeing? Because the people living in these environments, unfortunately, the main thing is, okay, making money legally. You have single parent home where there's almost like no hope.
Right.
If the single parent has no willpower to want to do better, or even if that single parent wants better for the kids, but it's impossible for them, because they have to also make their money.
Right.
And then some of these kids, they grow up now thinking, well, I gotta make money legally because I can't see my mom or my dad struggling in a certain way. So immediately they're thinking quick money. Who's the local drug dealer?
Right.
Who's the local scammer?
Right.
and the pattern continues. You know, I see it even where I live. I see it where families where the big brother was selling drugs, and it's so amazing that you see the younger brother was now 14, 15, 16, going at the same path. The exact same path. Is like the cycle is just repeating itself because this is all that they know. I know young boys in my area where they will just come out at night and then boom, you see 5 cars come out, boom, boom, just giving drugs, and then back in. They just made I don't know, £300, £200, £500, however they make.
Right.
To them is what? Quick money. But obviously, there is a way out.
Yeah.
With everything, there's always a way out. At school also, some of these, let's say in school or college, some of these kids, especially in school, they could be written off by the teacher. So the teacher have no hope already. I mean, teachers are sometimes they're stressed already anyway. Listen, these kids, I just get paid for forget that. Forget you guys. The company they keep as well. The company they keep is going to influence you. Regardless, the company is going to influence you. So you need to find it. Look around you. Who is the role model? Who can I look up to?
Right.
Because there is always a way out. There is always a way out. But you need to find out where is that light. Because let's say if you're making money illegally, what's the likelihood? Crime, getting stopped by police. You even getting killed or whatever. You just having quarrel. Who wants that kind of life? So is it better to have peace and to make money the normal way? Well, of course it is, rather than bringing in that quick money. So you have to decide at some point that, listen, this thing is not working, but who are they looking at? In these communities also, we have the local churches in these communities, but what are the churches doing to reach out in these communities? We've been to many churches we have seen many churches in communities where they don't get involved at all. They don't even want to get involved at all.
Right.
In fact, some of them, they rent buildings there. They don't you know what I'm talking about. They never rented the building legally already. They're doing subletting. So, hey, we can't announce to the government that we are there. So already, they don't really impact the community, It's funny, yesterday when we did Kingdom, man, we spoke about how we must influence society.
Right.
It's not necessarily a takeover, but it's like an influence behind the scenes.
Right.
I think this is where, the church has to come in, that what are we doing in our community to be that light? We're not saying we're going to change the whole community, but I can guarantee you that if 1, 2, 3, 4 start coming, then guess what? These 1, 2, 3, 4 are going to also go to invite others. But what are we giving? What are we giving them? That for me is one of the solutions. Obviously, I'm part of the church. I'm part of the body of Christ. So obviously, that's the solution that I will offer. That we have to do better in the community, getting involved in the community, because people are lost out there. It's not just about young, teenagers or people in their early 20s. We are seeing people in their 30s, in their 40s, because they're just living that same ragged average life, because they've just chosen not to. And it's not too late for them, by the way. It's not too late.
Right.
But they've chosen not to. They're always in gambling shop, always getting drunk, and you know how it works, and they don't see a way out because this is what they know. But is this really an excuse that this is what I know? I don't think it's an excuse, because there is more to all of us. But again, you talk about the willpower to desire to change and to break free completely. That's another story, and that's why I'm saying that this is where we the church come in as a light, that we have to do better. Because if you don't, I mean, it's tough out there. Let's not lie about it. It's tough out there, but at the same time, there's always a way out. There's always a way out. Getting drunk, scamming your way, or selling drugs, or doing whatever, or joining gangs. It's only going to end one way. So you can give 20,000 excuses. It's not the way. Because people are also going to look up to you if you're in that situation. Then what advice do you have to give?
Right.
Oh, let's make quick money. Forget this government. The government is this.
Right.
Oh, look at our skin color. Look at where we're from. They're against us. They're against us. So this is the way to go. This is the same excuse I just repeated. Because it's been repeated enough. It's not being believed.
Right.
It's not being believed 100%. Even if some of it is true, there's still a way out, because some are breaking out.
Right.
Some have broken out, and some are on the way to break out. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, then. So who should be accountable then? Themselves, or the ones who gave birth to them? Or locals from their communities? Like, who should take responsibility in terms of initiating that movement to break the cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's that young person themselves? Would you say it's their parents? Or would you say it's people who were born before them or who live in that community who are there, but they're not necessarily displaying an example that's worth following? Like, who do we, like, I don't believe in pointing fingers. However, if someone has come under you,
Mm-hmm.
is there a lack of compassion when you don't try to encourage them to
Mm-hmm.
live a better lifestyle, to try and outdo what you've done, to think beyond the circumstances? I don't know. I just asked myself that. I mean, how do you feel if your mother only reached a certain level in terms of productivity? You're now doing the same thing. Is that a case where they see it as the norm? Like, for example, if a child is born in a racist home, and what they've known is racism, and they've grown up being taught to be racist to other people, to them it's normal, it's a culture. So they don't know any better. So in that circumstance, I would point the finger at those who raised them. The individuals who raised them.
Right.
That's where I'll point the finger at.
Right.
So how does change come in? For someone who grows up like that and then never changes, when they get older as well, they teach their kids to do the same thing as well. Do you blame them? Do you blame them for it?
I mean, I think obviously.
Do you blame them for it, or do you blame their parents for not teaching them? Because there are some who they've grown up racist, but then they've met other people of a different color and they built a bond with them. So that's caused them to say, okay, I accept that this is how my parents are. But I don't share that same view.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, I know that it depends on the individual as well. However, everyone has willpower. I believe that everyone has the ability to. I don't look down on anyone and say, okay, you know what, you're a special one, so you have the ability to break this change, whereas you're that's gonna be you forever. No, I totally disagree with that. I believe that everyone has the ability to. Even though I know that certain people will not change, I know that certain people will be stuck in their ways totally. Like, for example, when we spoke about the dangers of tradition, we know that certain people of, our parent generation are really stuck in their ways. Their mindset is very fixed, and sometimes even if you show them tangible evidence of what they could do with change, they might refuse it because of their mindset. So it's not that they don't have the ability. I don't believe in the fact that, okay, someone's 70 years old, they are incapable of changing. No, they have a tendency to be stuck in their ways. So they probably will need to see it maybe like 100 times for it to actually sink in their subconscious. And that's where psychology kicks in to a certain degree. Now, when one grows up in that environment and they get older and then they have kids and they teach their kids the same thing, is it their fault for staying with that mindset and then passing it on? Or is it where they were born, where they grew up, and who taught them? In that circumstance, who do we point the finger at?
I mean, I think everything it starts from home, I think it starts from home. Yes, when like people get older, they make their own decision. There's almost nothing the parents could do. They could still have an influence, but I think as long as somebody is coming from your womb or your loins, I think there's always, what I mean, there's always, you have to train them the right way, teach them the right way. This thing is called a product of your environment. So of course, what you hear in your house, especially growing up, it's gonna feel your behavior when you go out there. It's as simple as that, because you could be at school, college, but every day you are home. You are home more than anything. So I believe is a responsibility, to make sure that yes, maybe the parents have reached a certain ceiling, but then they have to tell the child that no, you better do better than me. Because if you reach my ceiling, then boy, both of us we are failed in it. So who? I mean, just because I reached a certain ceiling, don't mean that you are not supposed to break that ceiling. So you can do it quicker. You're gonna do it quicker. But when the parents they start also to give up, and releases that same talk in the house that, you know, in this country, you know how things are in this country, you know, guy, you know, so just do anything, do any average job, it's fine. You're gonna be okay and everything, you know, as long as you have that your little money, it's fine. If the child keeps on hearing that growing up, they're not gonna feel much for themselves in it. Again, unless they meet some outside influence, whether in the family or out there, that's gonna show them that no, they're actually better. So I think parents always have a responsibility, guardians, there's always responsibility, because obviously you're the one, is the person that sowed the seeds in the child's life growing up. So no matter what, there's always a responsibility, you know. I mean, sometimes when we see somebody rude on the street, or a young person being rude on the street, or a young person fighting, what do you say at times? Oh, who raised you? What kind of house do you come from?
Yeah.
You know. So in a way, but before I come back to that, in the other way also, there are also guys that are very, very tricky, and they're very, very smart. Like in terms of like they've gotten good education, but when they go out there, they have somebody else totally.
Right.
On that one, I don't think you should blame the parents, you know, because I know people that listen. I've seen people back in the days, you know, one way let's say they'll tell the parents, oh, I'm going to spend the weekend with so we're going to revise. But then as soon as they come out in the bag, they've got the dress they're going to wear for the weekend, or the clothes they're going to wear for the weekend. I mean, you can't blame the parents for that. You know, some are very, very tricky because they're intelligent in school. They're able to fool the parents even more.
Right.
Oh, my child is good. They're just going to revise somewhere. So there are some who actually do that. They've grown up outsmarting the parents, because you know your parents, you know the things to do, to say, you know the things to say to them for them to believe it. You know what I'm saying? So on that side, there are people like that no matter what you give them, good education, good upbringing, because of influence from their friends, that, you know, I want to be bad. I want to be bad because, you know, I always at home is boring. You know, let me go and do bad things out there. You know, that side also, you can't blame the parents. You know, because that person has decided to rebel because they've seen that, oh, actually it's cool to be bad. It's fun if I behave bad, because that's what's going to attract the other guys to me. That's what's going to attract, you know, girls to me, because they like that kind of lifestyle. You know, those who pretend like that. You know, but ultimately, I'll go back to the point of sowing seed. Parents sow seed into their children's lives. So it's important to sow the right seed. Just because you failed, you cannot sow seed of bitterness in your child's life. But unfortunately, this is what it gets repeated in a lot of the communities. You know, it gets repeated in a lot of communities. You know, men have been failed by women, so then they release that poison into the child as well. Or women, don't worry about women. Women are cheap. Just use them or whatever. And you see people becoming like the fathers, the same cycle. You know, you've seen young women becoming like the mothers, because they've not been able to get rid of the poison, the bitterness that is in them. You know, so without knowing, some of them, it's become so automatic, it's become natural now, second nature, to bash men, to diss men. And if the girls hear that at home, the young daughters hear that at home, what are they going to think of themselves? You know, so the seeds get sown. You know, there's a part that parents always have to play. You know, it's important that let it be the case where maybe if your child behaves out there, as long as you know you've done your best, then that's fine. Then nobody can tell you that it's your fault. You know, but don't leave yourself open for people to say, or for even you to know deep down that, you know what, I didn't do enough there. You know, there's a process everyone has to go through. You know, hey, if you decide to make a baby, and you can't now take the anger on the baby because the partner's left you, or because you've left the partner. You know, but again, that's what's happening out there. There are a lot of bitter people grown up in a community. You see people around our age group, you know, they have teenage kids, but you see the kids, even the way they speak to the kids, you know, the respect is not really there, because they're still even fooling around. Even at that age, they're still fooling around. You know, they're still fooling around. This one is whoever's the mother or the father. Oh, but I need to have fun too. Yeah, but you have kids at home that are watching you. Oh, I have my needs too. Okay, you have your needs too, but hey, you are raising a young woman, you are raising a young man. So what are you showing them? Oh, you have your needs. What do you mean you have your needs? You know, so the answer is not the bottle or the drugs, you know, or the multiple partners you're going to have. That's not the answer. Again, you have to what? Break out. You know, you have to break out. And again, this is where, you know, community support is very important. Again, this I'll go back to the church again. You know, how do we get involved even if our people who are struggling? How do we get involved with them?
Yeah.
How do we get involved if our single parents family where the kids are struggling? What do we tell them? Okay, don't we pray for you? Okay, but beyond that, what are you doing? You know, are you offering help with the child's homework? Are you telling, you know, how many churches do we where the pastor will ask, okay, then do you have teachers in the church? Okay, then can you help such and such with their homework during the week or every weekend?
Right.
This is community support right there. Do you know what I mean? You know, that alone is a big thing. That alone can turn somebody away from doing bad.
Right.
That alone can make, you know, let's say a mother not go to a friend, maybe that's a teacher, but because he wants something from the mother, or I teach your child, but you know what I want in return. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That alone. Because there's protection there already.
Yeah.
We're talking about these little things that you don't need to publicize. You know, this is real community support. It's not just, oh, let's go and give food to the homeless. No, let's start from home.
That's true.
If you know that our home is wretched, then, okay, then, what do we do in the churches then? Because again, in every, okay, let's say in Stratford, you could have 6-10 churches within the same whatever, you know, but how many of them are really involved with the community?
Right.
0. How many of them are involved even with their own members? Not really.
Right.
You know, so this is where we have a massive part to play as well, and we gotta take the blame as well, because if people come under us, under my leadership, then am I getting involved in their lives? It's not just about them coming to church every week or whatever. No, am I getting involved in their lives? If they have an unruly child, what is happening? You know, what is the solution? So we have to show them that, listen, that environment, no, we can create a better environment for you, which you're going to become a product of, but it's going to be a good product. Yeah. Because we're going to teach you that, look, there are people that can behave well. You know, it pays to behave well. It pays to have good manners. You know, it pays to talk well. These are the little things that you are supposed to show them. That not going around there selling drugs or going around with different or getting drunk. This is not the answer. You know, we're supposed to create communities in our places of worship, and then you can become a product of that environment, and then you can have a better outlook in life. That's the case, you know. But if churches don't get involved, you know, if churches don't get involved, failures are going to be produced, and the impact is not going to be felt. Yeah.
Okay, so like some valid points you made there. So would you say then that we are all accountable as a community to make that change? Because I use the example of racism again.
Yeah.
Does a racist child know that they're racist if they're being raised in a racist family? Do they know that they're being racist when they are being racist?
Yeah, I think yes.
So if that's all they know, if that's all they've been taught,
but
okay, let's say they're 11 years old and they're racist.
Yeah.
Do they know that they're being wrong and being racist?
Yeah.
For example, if they've been taught that, you know, don't hang around this colored people are this and that, are they seeing it as segregating and hatred on another individual, or are they seeing it as their parents cautioning them and warning them to protect them from some form of harm?
Yeah.
So if I'm bashing another culture because I don't like them, my reason may have been because someone of that color, of that ethnicity, hurt me badly. So I've grown bitter towards them now. I no longer like them anymore. So I don't want my kids to go through the same thing. So now, so when I speak to them now, what happens is my bitterness comes out. Yeah. And it's just repulsive poison. They now take that in, and they grow up to dislike that ethnicity, to dislike that skin color, to dislike that religion, to dislike that culture. Is that child hearing hate, or is that child hearing my parent is advising me and warning me from harm? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, of course, I get it.
So, do they know that they're being racist when they're being racist? I'm talking about the kids, not the parents.
Yeah.
Do they know that? And so it's very hard. It's very hard because with some of them, it's really not their fault. It's really not their fault, especially if that's been passed on to you. When you don't know any better, it's just that you are ignorant. Sometimes ignorant is... That's very tough, because at what point does ignorant become a choice? Yeah. So if someone's ignorant, if my grandmother was ignorant and she taught my mother, and then my mother taught me, that's what I know. Yeah. So if they taught me all they knew, and all they knew was ignorance, that's what I've grown up with. So I think that's where, as a community, we need to be active, because there's someone out there who needs help, who doesn't know any better, who needs to see your example. That's why I felt that it was very tragic when, like in, I believe it was 2008, to be precise, when the credit crunch hit, and then there was a financial crisis, and a lot of the youth centers were shut down and closed, because coming to those places provided a lot of hope for young people. It's been so long, wow, man, 2008. And they were able to come there, and the youth workers were able to teach them life skills, life coaching. We use sports and other activities as tools only. However, within that, it was projects that they will come up with, understanding leadership, understanding teamwork, building self-confidence, and all these kind of things. Enabling them to take ownership of their passions and to actually have that confidence and courage to actually display that, putting talent shows together, putting fashion shows together, organizing football tournaments, organizing small concerts and whatnot. So that experience for them was actually enabled them to actually expand their minds and actually see beyond their circumstances, to see things beyond their community. I remember I was working on a film project in 2014 called The Regret, and when I started it, some of the young people that I was working with from Silvertown, to be precise, I asked them about their community, what they felt about the community that they lived in, and they had nothing positive to say.
I mean, it is Silvertown.
Yeah, I said Silvertown. I mean, I said
Silvertown. That's what I said. I said, it is Silvertown. What's in Silvertown?
He said that, not me.
Okay, don't come for me, guys.
I've got nothing but love for Silvertown.
Don't come for me. East London.
He said that. I got nothing but love for Silvertown. So they had nothing positive to say. So then I asked him, okay, if you had a relative who was coming over from another country to Silvertown, no, to London, would you recommend them coming to Silvertown? They were like, no way. I'm like, why? He goes, Silvertown is dirty.
Oh, yes.
The people the people don't really do nothing with their lives, and that it's an S-hole. That's what they said. There's nothing nice about it. And then I asked him a question, and I said, what about Excel in that area? Britannia Village. That's nice. Pontoon Docks. They're like, that's not Silvertown. I'm like, it is. He goes, no, that's not Silvertown. That's Pontoon Docks. No, that's Britannia Village. I said, that's Britannia Village. And then, no, they said that's Britannia Village. I'm like, no, Britannia Village is Silvertown. Excel is in Silvertown. They're like, no, that's West Silvertown. That's Pontoon Docks. That's not Silvertown. I'm like, no, these DLR stations are section points within an area. So I gave an example. I said, look, Star Lane DLR is in Canning Town. Star Lane is not an area. Star Lane, there's a road called Canning Town. It's called Star Lane. But the DLR station is just to facilitate transport. They're like, no, Excel's not. No, there's no way Excel can be Silvertown. To them, Silvertown is this place, this small community. That's dirty. No, I'm like, no. Excel is Silvertown.
They don't see that.
Barrier Park is Silvertown. That area section, Pontoon Dock, that's Silvertown too.
They don't see it like that.
They're like, no, it's not. So I asked them, okay. So we moved to different locations in order to film. And someone that we're in the same borough, by the way. I remember we went past East Ham, and one of them said, I'd never been to East Ham before. He was 17 years old. I was like, never.
Why?
No, I've never been to East Ham before. So I was like, wow, so you've lived in that small community in Silvertown. You're 17 years old and you've never been to East Ham. I'm not talking about South London. I'm not even talking about going outside of London.
Why? Is it because of the ops?
No, there was no the term. We never used the term.
Actually,
ops
it wasn't there.
In 2014, the term ops wasn't being used. Pagan, to a certain degree, was just coming in, but ops, no way. And this is an individual who wasn't involved.
It wasn't. Okay then.
And still isn't.
Okay,
but it was just the fact that they had never been to East Ham before.
East Ham.
In primary school, I had been to East Ham before because whenever we get our school uniforms, there's a
it's
shop.
East Ham. It's in East Ham. Yeah.
So their community was extremely small. So I was like, okay, so that means you haven't really, to a certain degree, all you know is that small community.
Jeez.
To the certain degree that you were not able to accept that XL
it's in your community.
Is
Yeah.
Because to you, Excel is wow, but your community. Wow. So to them, it's like there's no way that something that's wow could be a part of our community.
Yeah.
So once we started filming that film and going to Stratford, going to Bow, going to various places, and speaking while we're doing it, and them actually seeing that we're making a progress from just speaking about this film project to actually making it happen. They're seeing it come bit to bit, and then them seeing actually that it's gonna go to a cinema and we're gonna have a film premiere. That helped to break their mindset.
Yeah, of course.
Now, was I related to them? No. Was I part of their family? No. I knew them for that short space of time. But how they were coming to a youth center, and we were able to work together on a project. So they went from being stuck in that small community, being a product of that environment, physically and mentally, them not seeing people within their communities achieve anything that resemble growth and development. However, through that, I'm not saying that I'm the savior or anything, but it's something that we were a part of.
Yeah, you played your part in it.
That helped to build their confidence. Actually say that, you know what, there is more to life than just this. So I believe that's why I understand now why a lot of people say that going on holiday is very good. It's good to go out and see the world. Yeah, because when you go out, you see things from a totally different perspective.
Of course.
You see the diversity that this planet actually has, different people, different ways of living, how certain people are able to be productive with lack. So with less than what you have. Yeah, and what you have, you complain about, saying, I can't do anything because all I have is this. You go elsewhere, you see people who have twice as less as you, but they're being productive with smiles on their faces. So you're saying, you know what, if they can do that, I can do it too.
That's right.
And from that perspective, it's almost like you're able to look back at where you reside and say, you know what, I'm looking at things differently. I'm actually looking at the opportunities I actually had, which I didn't really notice. So once you now come back now, you're able to be a lot more productive than you were. Because why? You've come out of your environment. You've come out. So, for example, in Congo, for example, we know that in terms of natural resources, that land, which is the Congo, formerly known as Zaire, is the wealthiest spot in terms of natural resources on the planet. In terms of all the, in terms of what it contains. Yeah. However, economically, it doesn't reflect that at all.
No, it's one of the poorest.
If you look at the citizens, the community, they don't reflect that at all.
Yeah.
But what happened in 2008 is a group of Chinese came over to the country. They looked and they said, wow. Well, the people who've been living there, who were born there, they're calling overseas and saying, send me this, send me that. They're complaining and saying, man, life is hard, life is hard. But outsiders came in, looked and they said, wow. They grouped up. They went back to where they were from, recruiting more people from China, came there and started to establish businesses and build. Why? Because they saw what the country had. They saw an opportunity that the residents were actually sleeping on. Now, they're thriving, but the residents are now complaining and saying, oh, these guys just come over and believe that they can take what belongs to us. No, it was already there.
Yeah, but it's the government's fault, Patrick, innit? That one, you can't.
The government's going to be the government. So by saying that, does that mean that we are at the mercy of the government? Does that mean that if your government corrupt, that's it? You cannot excel. You cannot achieve anything in life. You need to change countries. No, I believe that where you are placed, I believe that you are able to produce success where you are. I believe so. I believe so. And great success is not achievable without pain, without struggle, and without going through a dark place. Yeah. Every diamond needs to be refined and go through fire before it becomes the dark, precious diamond that we see today.
Yeah.
So I believe that, in some cases, you need to come out your environment and go elsewhere. I believe in some cases, you are able to do it in your environment.
Yeah.
So coming out isn't necessarily always physical. Mental is all. Yeah, you can come out your environment by speaking to different people with a different mindset, having different conversations. Choosing your friends wisely, what you listen to, what you're watching. If you're listening to motivational speakers, that's you coming out of your environment mentally. That's an escape. If you're watching their videos, that's an escape. Yeah, it's actually food that you're taking into a certain degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you constantly hear depression, people complain all the time, people talk about poverty, people talk about the struggles. If you're hearing that, that's sinking into your subconscious and it's taking it in. And then your mind starts to accept that. If you're constantly seeing it, that sinks into your subconscious as well.
Yeah.
That sinks in. So what shapes us is what we hear and what we see. That shapes our mentality. Yeah. So if we want to renew our mentality, it means that we need to reshape or reform our mentality by using the same principle, what we listen to and what we look at. So let me look at something different. Okay, let me look, because there are successful people on this planet. Regardless of where they live, let's listen to their stories. How did they get there? Not everyone got there by taking in an inheritance from their rich and wealthy family. No, some came from poverty. So some of their genesis, some of their start resembles exactly where you are right now. So if they were able to do it, there could be a chance that you may also be able to do it too.
That's right.
So what do we do now? Okay, let's check their story. How did they start? Oh, single parent home. That's just like me. Oh, 4 younger siblings too, just like me. What do? Oh, they went through this. Oh, they went through pain. Oh, okay, they did it. So it may not necessarily be the same career path that you're after, but however, it's the same principles that apply. Dedication, discipline, self-imposed discipline, which is applying restriction to yourself in terms of do's and don'ts. I believe in having like some of them have a to-do list. But I was listening to a motivational speaker the other day. He also spoke about having a not to-do list. So not just a to-do list, but having a not to-do list. So things that I'm not going to do this week. Yeah. And I was like, wow, like I've never thought of that, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So people who are trying to, let's say, for example, achieve a certain figure, whether it's for a film role or if a woman wants to fit into a certain dress that she wore for a wedding or for her own wedding, she decided she's going to go to the gym because she needs to be in the right shape. She needs to be physically healthy, emotionally too. So she's going to the gym, which means that, okay, she needs to be cautious about her diet as well. What to eat and what not to eat. So what not to eat will be a part of the what not to do list, because that can compromise what you're trying to achieve. So let me make sure I do not do this. Let me make sure that when I wake up first thing in the morning, my phone is not the first thing that I go to. Let me make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I do not snooze my alarm. Yeah, a not to do list.
Yeah.
So these are all things that can actually get you there. So looking at life examples, like it's not just the lottery that's going to get you rich. There's actually ways of becoming rich. There's actually ways of owning a house, buying another property, owning property and leasing them. But some people don't believe that. Some people believe that, you know what, yeah, some people are lucky. And then they pass that on to their kids.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you're lucky, well, maybe if you win the lottery, maybe. No, there's more to life than that. However, some people believe that. So it's like, okay, you know what are the chances of me getting, how many numbers is it in the lottery again? 10? Six numbers, yeah. What are the chances of me picking these numbers? And then I'm sitting there watching TV and then my 6 numbers actually show up and all that. Nah, that's impossible. I mean, yeah, some people win, but how do I know for sure those people actually win? How do I know it's not to say publicity is done for them to keep us gambling? How do I know? So that means that if 4 million people just put £1 that week, the lottery have made 4 million if no one wins. So if one individual decides, you know what, I'm going to play 10 different numbers, multiply that by 10. 4 times 10 is what? 40. 40 million. So it's an environment that's encouraging us that there's no hope unless we try this. But then that's turning us into addicts to something. Because some people are addicted to that and say, you know what, this week might be my luck. Or maybe, okay, I got 3 numbers. What I needed was just 2 more. That means I was close. Let me try again.
Yeah.
They fell, no numbers. How can I fail? Now, last time I got 3 numbers. No, I can't give up now. Let me play. So that's the escape, the possibility that I will win one day. If I win, I'm going to buy this. But I mean, the intentions are good because they want out of a certain lifestyle. they want better for themselves, but it's just the path that they're choosing. So yeah, the environment that we're in, to a certain degree, is encouraging a lifestyle of no hope and encouraging gambling.
Yeah.
Some people gamble with their lives by saying, "What, you know what? I'm gonna go to the streets and I'm gonna make my money in that particular way. Yes, I know it's dangerous, but I gotta put food in my house, food for my kids. If I don't take care of them, who's going to take care of them? Me, get a job at McDonald's and then wait how long before I get promoted to be a manager? And what's a manager's salary anyway? I could just about pay my rent with that, and then what? No, I need something more than that. So you start selling drugs and all sorts, but then that attracts the wrong attention. Now you have to look over your back all the time. So what do you do? Okay, I need to protect myself. Where can I find such a weapon? Where can I find this? Where can I find a crew? That draws attention. So it's a gamble. Again, some people escape is like, you know what? I just need a line of coke to just get away from this, even if it's just for like 5 hours. Let me just escape. And that's the escape.
Yeah.
That high is the escape. But then once that high finishes, they're back to reality. And it's like it hits them like 100 times more. But they remember what it was like to escape. They remember how it felt to not think about those problems. So the result to what, you know what? I need that line of coke again. Because they're in an environment of no hope. So that's why I always say that when some people are in situations and all they can see is what the lenses of that environment enables them to see. Because some people didn't choose to be born there. They didn't choose the families that they were born in, but they were born there. They've grown up in there, and all they've known is that. Yeah. So that's why, as a community, I believe 100% that it's our duty to be productive. Because why? Because there's always going to be someone that's looking for an answer. You never know whether or not you're someone's last hope. Yeah, even though they're not trying to do what you're trying to do, but the fact that they can see you achieve something, be productive, and come out of a situation, they may want to approach you and ask you, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Their parent might see you and say, you know what, my son wants to do the same thing you're doing, or my daughter wants to do the same thing you're doing. How can I help? So that's why I believe that the government definitely needs to focus on getting some of these youth centers back open again, because since they've closed, we've seen how the crime rate has increased amongst young people.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's gang recruitment from kids as young as 12 years old, 13, and they're actively engaged, that they're bunking school in order to go and make certain moves. Their gang leaders are sometimes just 18, 19 kids, but it's happening. So what these youth centers did, it gave a sense of direction to these young people to show them that you can actually do something.
Of course.
It was an informal structure which educated as well, because education, formal structure, school is good. However, it's just the curriculums that you learn there, which is great. Utilize and make the most of it when you're there. But however, life skills need to be applied, and that's what these youth centers did. It gave life skills. It gave not to say that it was like it gave a spark. It put a spark in these young people's lives. Some of them who may have been timid, but then once they started to come to the youth centers and meet different people and interact in a different way, it sparked them to actually speak out and say what they want to do. And what the youth centers will do is they will inquire and do researches and even get external organizations to come in and deliver workshops. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, coaching. Okay, we'll get a coach to come in. What do you want to do? Okay, photography. We'll get a photography company to go. Oh, we'll put together a trip and go to a photography studio and actually take pictures and see how it comes out. So all these things are actually good. And then these kids can actually go back to their homes and actually tell their parents what they did. And then the parents may want to come to the youth center and speak to some of the youth workers. So that's what it did. It built relationships between the young people, between the parents, and that's a win-win situation, because it's helping the parents and it's helping the kids as well at the same time. So we're liaising with each other, and as a community, what was happening is we grew. So to me, without a doubt, I mean, just having this conversation with you has encouraged me as well to actually pull my weight and actually
definitely.
do what I need to do, because truth of the matter is, I know we've been saying this for a long time, but it's not about us. When I say us, I mean me and you. It's not, it's not about me. It's about us collectively. So all the gifts that I carry, the ability that I have, is not for me. For people just to look at me and be like, wow, Patrick, you're really good at this. No, it's about reaching out to other people. It's about sending a message. It's about educating. It's about inspiring. It's about motivating. That's what it's all about. Because what the things that I'm passionate about wanting to do now is because I heard a motivational speaker. I saw certain people achieve greatness at what they do. I've seen people work on their craft. So it's a big thank you to them because they've inspired me. Did my environment do that for me? No, not necessarily. I had to look outside to a certain degree.
Yeah, of course.
I had to look outside to a certain degree.
Of course.
When I say outside, I mean far outside. I had to listen to different things that I was hearing.
Yeah.
So, enjoying something doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Like the music that I enjoyed when I was young, growing up, I loved it. However, some of it had bad influence. Some of it might make you want to go outside and do certain things that you know you shouldn't be doing. So even though I said inspiring, like, let me correct it by saying positive inspiration, positive motivation, positive encouragement, because inspiration isn't necessarily positive. So if something inspires you to go out and cause crime, then that inspiration may not necessarily been positive per se. However, the fact that you were inspired means that someone put in the work and produced a product that was good enough to inspire. So the key thing is putting in the work. And this could be an individual who's never met you before. You've never met them. They ain't got a clue who they are. But their product motivated you, inspired you, and made you want to do something. So that's why it's imperative that as a community we do something, that we produce products. You know, the ideas that we have, write them down, produce them, actually see, because there's people out there that are screaming for hope, searching for hope. However, truth of the matter is, hope is in people. We are hope personified. What we do, the results that we produce, gives the evidence of hope. We see hope in people.
Now 100%. I mean, you said it all. I mean, I think there's opportunities out there, you know, for people that want to come out. And what I like now, especially now with technology, like the world has become smaller. I always say this, the world has become smaller. So you don't need to leave your house to listen to something that's gonna inspire you, to watch something that's gonna motivate you. You don't need to leave your house. It's basically literally at the tip of your phone. The same way people organize drug deals on their phones, and then they could just organize 20 drug deals on their phone, or scams or whatever. It's the same way on your phone. You can just sit in your house, but then you are elsewhere because of what you are watching, because of what you are listening to. You know, a lot of things are being offered online now for people to better themselves. So it's all about the choice. The power is in our hands now. A lot of these things are free. You know what I'm saying? The power really is in our hands, and people have to understand that there's always going to be better. You know, there is always going to be better because people are making it. People are breaking through. You know, and if somebody's thinking that, oh well, look at my age, I just want to be a millionaire or whatever. That don't, you know, listen, nobody tells you that if you're a millionaire, that's what's gonna make you happy. No. You know, you can be fulfilled as long as you are doing your purpose, the thing that God has ordained you to do, and be fulfilled, you know, touching lives, impacting people and whatever, and just have that fulfilled life, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, you are looking forward to fulfilling your purpose. For me, that is real success. That is real success. You know, there was this quote, I think it's by Zig Ziglar, but I've heard it many times anyway, that some people are so poor that all they have is money. Most people be like, whatever, nah, don't say that. The Bible says money answereth all things, you see, you know. But some people, they are so poor, all they have is money, because how many millionaires commit suicide? You know, how many millionaires, then when they get some sickness, terminal illness, nothing. They don't have, let's say that they don't have the power of prayer. They don't, well, I've paid for all the treatment. The doctor said nothing. But someone like us that has the power of prayer, one free prayer, boom, we could have the same, but then it will not hit us because we have the power of prayer. Or our prayer can heal them. You see that? But all that money, yet people are still miserable. People are not even millionaires, but they make lots of money, but yet they are still miserable. I speak to lots of people like that. I speak to lots of people, they say, listen, I can't sleep at night, man. Despite all the money I'm making, I cannot sleep at night. you know. So it's about you finding purpose, you know, what like God has put things in us, you know. There's passions that we have, you know, and then we just have to, I mean, end of the day, why do you have to lose? If God has ordained it, then you might as well go and do it and find the information. Or by in my community, there's no role models. Well, check on, go on Google and check. Go on your Instagram on Google and check, you know, around you who is doing the same thing that can inspire you. A lot of things are free and available now. We just have to jump on our phone and then we will see that help. You know, help is available. And I believe also as a community, we have to take more care of each other. We're going to be more protective of one another, you know, because, you know, we can be good role models. You don't have to reach the summit before you call yourself a role model. No, you could be on your way and still be a role model. You could be on your way and still inspire somebody on your way to the so-called summit that you call summit, you know, because at the end of the day, we are still a work in progress anyway.
Right.
What is the summit anyway? What is the summit? You know, where does it stop? Do you know what I mean? That's again, that's a wrong talk again. You know, there's no such thing as the summit because we keep on growing and growing and growing.
Right.
When do you stop? I mean, really and truly, you know, society will tell you that, okay, when you certain age, okay, you must retire now or whatever. That's what society will tell you. That's even some of our parents, God bless them, you know, when they've come, that's what they'll tell us that make sure you work so that you could go a pension when you retire. No, I don't want to work for a pension when I retire. For the government to tell me how much, okay, this is how much we're going to give you at 65. Then what kind of life have I lived?
Exactly.
Who said that life is over at 65 or 70? I don't understand that. Again, this is the mentality that some of our parents have, unfortunately, you know. That 65-year-old that do marathons, 17-year-olds that are going to do charity work or whatever. So how can you tell somebody, okay, this is over for you at that particular age? You know? So yeah. We need to do better, you know, we need to do better. And especially us, our generation, you know, again, our parents might have a different mindset than us. That's them. Let's leave it to them now. That's them. That's why, unfortunately, there are certain things even me I couldn't tell some of my relatives, all the relatives, you know, because they're just not ready to hear it, you know. Because when we reach a certain age, what they will ask you is that, okay, then, are you married? What are you doing? Come on, in this country, this is that, and you trying to make some different moves, and they're like, nah, play safe, you know. So for me, it's got to the stage where I said, you know what, I'm good. You doing this? Yeah, I'm doing that. You working there? Yeah. You see, so yeah, I am, just to keep them quiet, you know, because of different mindset. But I'm learning from that because when I have my kids, it teaches me that, you know, I'm always going to keep on track and push my kids. You know, I'm not going to be conditioned like maybe some of our parents' generation. They've been conditioned, obviously. Again, like I said, they've done a great job by coming here. Some of them they've had to do jobs that, you know, they were below them just for us to, you know, to have something. They've done a lot of them have done that for years and years and years. So I could never take that away from them. You know, they've done things 2 jobs, 3 jobs, you know, just for us to be better. I could never take that away from them, you know. But even if them as well, there's a certain level also where you shouldn't be, well, I'm waiting for my kids to make it so then they could bring me money. No. First of all, that's automatic anyway. Your kids will bless you anyway. But don't stop. That's the thing, innit? Yeah. That's the lesson I've learned. Don't put a traffic light. Yeah. I'm 62 though. I'm like, oh, so? Like, are you okay?
One of my maths teachers retired from work. He retired. Yeah, Mr. Burgess, Anthony Burgess. I love that teacher to this day. He was the one teacher who, like, he took no nonsense. He will fight you. I don't know how he got away with it. Today you touch a kid and that's your job gone. He will fight. He will grab you by the neck. You know, when we had a group of racists, I'm not gonna mention their name, that will come to this country and fight us, he would chase them out as well. So Mr. Burgess. And then one day I remember seeing like a gardener by the school, someone gardening, and they had their work van and everything. I looked up and I was like, Mr. Burgess. He's like, oh, how are you, son? I'm like, I'm good. What are you up to nowadays? This is like years, like over 10 years since leaving school and that. So this was like maybe like 2013. I'm like, yeah, what you been up to? He goes, yeah, I've come out of retirement. He goes, yeah, just staying in all day and all that. Just I was for myself. You know, my body still works, so let me make something myself. So I've built my own business, and now I'm doing this now, and I'm getting more money than I was
Look at
when
that.
I was a teacher.
You see?
So, like you said, it's never too late.
No, I don't.
Like every stage in life is a new opportunity to do different things and try something different. Yeah, and try something different. So that's why I encourage you to just keep on going and to just keep on pushing, because the moment you stop and you say, okay, you're not placing a burden on your kids that you shouldn't really be placing, because by nature, out of appreciation, they should assist you. They should assist you.
I mean,
but it shouldn't be expectation that you place on yourself. It shouldn't be an expectation that you place on, that you impose on them, that you must do this. No. If I'm a parent, it's my responsibility to bring you up. To bring you up. I bring you up. And then once you achieve success, I'm proud. I cannot focus on myself again. That's why they forget. Some of them are so stuck on, okay, I'll raise you as soon as you succeed. It's back to me now. That's what? I scratch your back, you scratch mine. No. If I do something for you as a person, I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart. If it's a job, it's a job. They're getting paid for, that's different. Yeah, it's nice to be appreciated, but to place that demand on them, like once they've grown up now and they have a family now, that's their priority. That's theirs. I can believe it or not, it is a joy for the children who have now grown up to see their parents take their own lives back and achieve something too. That's double inspiration.
Of course.
You should be able to. So you shouldn't just stop unless you're stopping for a reason, whether it's medical reasons or whatnot. But you can keep on going. If you own a business, that business can expand. You can still stay involved. When we retire, what are we retiring from? Actually, you can retire from a job to pursue something else. Or it could be a long break that you're taking. But I encourage you to constantly have a plan, because what you have is still going to be needed.
Of course.
That's how I look at it. So what you said there, like, they shouldn't stop.
No, they shouldn't. I don't know. I mean, who's stopping you anyway? Who's stopping you? We should come up with this mentality, or the government said I should stop now. Working for a free bus pass, and then a pension. I mean, come on. You've seen pensioners suffer in winter.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, we are watching, and then we still want to go ahead that way. Some of them are watching, but no, come on. That thing that is totally wrong. That thing is totally wrong. So for me, these are personal lessons that I've learned anyway, that I always have to keep on pushing, and I'm not gonna wait 20 years for my kids to turn a certain age. Then what am I doing all that time then? I'm gonna struggle, go here, go there, from this job to that job, and then when my kid is 18, finally, whatever. What God forbid something happens to that child, then that will need you to pay for something for them, an operation or something or whatever. What are you going to do? There's nothing, So you have to be careful, you have to be careful. And again, it's not about us. You have to be careful not to allow, the systems of life to do, what has been set out there to condition us and keep us in a certain box, because that's not what we were created for. It's not. The government have decided something, but it doesn't mean that we were created for that. And if you're passing through a stage now where at the moment, I need welfare from the government and all that, don't be embarrassed as long as you have a vision, because if a vision is your vision, you know what I'm saying? A vision is always your vision. So don't be embarrassed. If people are laughing at you, you're still unemployed. Don't be embarrassed. You have 5 businesses that failed. Yeah, at least you've done 5 businesses. At least you've been busy enough to do 5 businesses that failed. But you could always get back up. So at least you know what not to do next time. You know what to do next time. It doesn't matter. So that we were created to be productive anyway.
Right.
The first man that was created was taught to be productive. He was taught to be productive. So and it continues till today. So you just have to be those great role models that the community is looking for, because again, you don't know who's watching. You really don't know who's watching. There are people watching you silently, but they are observing you. So we have to do better. And
that's where it pays.
The environment is not. Let's create better environment so that we can create better products.
Right. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, I'm gonna finish off with this. The truth of the matter is, we are supposed to create our environment.
Thank you.
As opposed to being a product of our environment.
Thank you.
So even with that being said, how is environment created?
Mm.
What are you surrounded by?
Mm.
You are surrounded by people's actions, what people produce,
Yes.
and what people don't produce.
Mm.
Creates an environment.
Mm.
Yeah. So an environment is actually created by what we do
Mm-hmm.
and what we carry.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's poverty in an environment, it's created by our lack of productivity.
Mm.
So it always comes back to us. Yeah. Hence why this podcast is called Me versus Me.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, it always comes back to you.
Yeah.
What can I do to change this? Or what did I do to cause this? What must I do to make the right changes? Yeah. Product of your environment, or is your environment supposed to be a product of you?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. This is Me versus Me. I'm Patrick Kinzonzi.
Thanks, guys. I'm Herman Madimba.
I will catch you guys next time. Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Take care.